everyone, Nigel here with you, Nigel's Modelling Bench, but you knew that. And this is a review of a couple of beautiful kits I've received from a company called Iconicair. And the first one is the David Brown tractor, also known as the Tug Master, who misses. So that's the first kit I'm going to review in this video. And the second kit I'm going to review is the RAF Heavy Bomb Trolley Type H with the Tallboy bomb. And these are both in 1/32 scale, and they are basically a fantastic side piece for your Hong Kong models or forthcoming border models 1/32 scale Lancaster. They could also be used, I mean, I guess you wouldn't use this, the Tallboy bomb with anything other than a Lancaster, but the actual, the tractor itself was a very, very commonly seen implement found in airfields for many, many years after the war as well. Now, if you think, well, I've seen this video before, you are correct. This is take two. I've called it take two in the image on on YouTube. Reason being, I've done this video twice already actually. So the one you saw before was sort of part 1.5. It was a mixture of the first two. And for some unknown reason, I don't know why, when it's uploaded to YouTube, it becomes like a video, and it's bloody horrible to watch. So I'm redoing the whole thing. I don't know what's going on. I've got it all saved on my computer and it's absolutely fine. It flows, it's clean, it's smooth, everything. But as soon as I put it on YouTube, it goes awful. So I'm redoing it. So that one is now gone. This is the new one. If this is the first video you've seen reviewing these two kits, ignore what I'm saying and enjoy. If this isn't the first time you've seen it, there will be nothing really different in this one than you've already seen. So not really a lot of point watching it. Unless you like listening to me waffling on, then have it on in the background. So let's get these boxes open and have a look at what's in there. Right, so without further ado, let's have a look at what we've got in these boxes. So this is the, first of all, we've got the RAF David Brown Tug Master tractor from Iconicair in 32nd scale. And this is a beautiful little kit. As I said, this is the second time I reviewed it, so I know what's actually the third. I know what to expect. So looking around the box, we just got an image on the side here, a nice CAD image. Scale model kit of the RAF's Airfield tractor used for towing large weight ordnance trolleys. Kit includes resin parts suitable for experienced modelers, so it's not a beginner's kit. And over here we've got another lovely CAD image showing the back end of the tractor. And the same words over here once again. So having a look. I first of all want to start off by saying, if you saw the original video, you will see at the beginning I talked about the packaging, and the packaging in this was absolutely beautiful. When I get good packaging, I like to give the company that supplies that good packaging a shout out. When I get bad packaging, I do the same. So here we go. Let's have a look at what we've got in this lovely little kit. So as you can see, all beautifully packaged, all bagged up. Now the parts are all loose in the bags. This is what you have to expect with resin kits. Even the best resin kits, they come like this. This is how they are. You can go and buy a £300 model airplane and you will find the resin parts are like that. They're actually fine. The resin is fairly hard. The parts won't generally get damaged. If anything does get damaged, it generally gets broken. And the beauty of resin, as I've said so many times before, if you follow my channel you'll know, the beauty of resin, if you break it, like if I wanted to snap this leg off on here, I would just go and it would break off, and then I could glue it back together. Whereas with styrene, it kind of stretches, deforms, and then breaks, so you can't just easily repair it. So basically, emptying out the box, we've got our decals there, we've got our bags of resin, and we've got our instructions. So the first thing I'm going to do is get that out of the way, and we'll have a look through the instructions. So basically on the front here we've got the, this is an Airfield RAF tractor manufactured by David Brown for airfield use. Airfield use, should I say. It's hauling bomb trolleys to the waiting aircraft, and was also used for towing aircraft themselves. And they have actually got this one. If you follow Jess Jane on YouTube, there's many videos put up about Jess Jane, and you'll see they've actually got one of these they've restored. They're missing some bits, so if you know of one in the scrap heap, let them know. They're looking for a couple of parts, but basically, yeah, they use it for actually towing Jess Jane around, and Jess Jane is an ex-Canadian Lancaster. So main thing I need to say in here, The parts for this kit are made from polyurethane resin. It is advisable to wear a mask when sanding the parts to protect against the dust. I would say it's more than advisable. Just wear a mask or sand it wet. If you've got a big spray booth like I have, the Bart Sharp one, then do it in there. You can extract the dust as well. You really don't want this stuff going in your lungs. The same applies for my resin parts, guys. It has isocyanates in it and all sorts. You do not want that going in your lungs. So basic assembly instructions, best suited being glued together with epoxy resin 5-minute glue. This stuff here I can thoroughly recommend, the Gorilla Glue. If you're in the UK, you can get this in Tesco's and everything. Look at the date on it. There is a date on the side here, and as you can see here, this says 15/20, so that would have been 2020 week 15. Okay, so it's fairly old now. But make sure that what you're buying isn't like years old. I mean, this will be absolutely fine. But obviously look at the date. If they've got newer stuff there, then get the newer stuff. And also the same applies with their super glue. When it gets old, it gets horrible. So yeah, 5-minute epoxy is the best thing to use, or any epoxy glue rather than super glue, because super glue tends to be very brittle and just gets more and more brittle with age. So if you can, use an epoxy glue rather than just super glue. By all means, you can tack parts together, and then like I do with plastic kits quite often, tack them together with super glue and then run the liquid poly round for a welding action. But basically just using super glue, not really that good most of the time. So basically they're saying here, when ready for painting, clean the model with mild detergent, as it does have mold release agent on it. The front wheels can be rotated on the end of the axles for a more animated display. So he doesn't mean rotated, he means steered. It is advisable to paint the tyres and hubs before assembly to get a neater result. So there we go, we've got an image there of the model on the front. So very simple instruction layout. Basically, as I say, cottage industry model kit. So it's going to be A4 paper printed. We've got colour images on the back there of the real thing. So we're starting off by adding the front bumper onto the basic floor pan with the front fenders, mudguards, and then we've got the top of the transmission and the drive mechanism going there like the rear axle would be. Adding the engine block, adding the fuel tank and the dashboard, and that looks like the back of the front of the transmission, which is at the back of the engine. And then going over the page here, top of the transmission with the gear stick going on, adding the seat, adding on, I called this the exhaust in the first video I did. I've been since told it's actually an inlet manifold. Stupid me. So this is an inlet manifold with an air filter. It's not an inlet manifold, it's an inlet with an air filter. The inlet manifold is in the side of the engine. Duh. So we've got the steering arm going in, and we've got the 2 selector levers there. It's telling us here, fit this after stage 11, because this needs to go through the passes through the hole in the shield. So there we go, you can see how it goes there, but it's just shown it there as a sort of just to see where it goes. Other parts are removed. So yeah, you can see it's going to go through that shield there in stage 11. So add it then. Adding the headlights and the engine cover with radiator grille. We're adding in a couple of pedals there, and we've got what I can only assume is a handbrake there, and it's showing here how they actually go. We've got that shield going on there, which is like a firewall kind of thing, and then we've got the beautiful little winch going together, which is really, really lovely. And they're saying do not glue, this part needs to swivel into place later, so that needs to swivel and actually be mounted into the rear fenders, and then we're adding the winch onto the back of the chassis there. So I guess they could use this for towing stuff out as well. And then we've got the these pages left intentionally blank. I don't know why they do that. Then we've got the rear section going on here, and that's got all the different heights you can see. We'll see on the parts in a minute, but it's got all the different heights for all the different implements it might want to tow around. And then we've got the rear blade going on. Again, don't glue that part, it's going to have to swivel into place after you've fitted the rear fenders, rear wheel arches. And that's the rear blade that's going to dig into the ground when they're winching, so it doesn't just pull the tractor along. Adding on the rear arches and the hubs, the mounting hubs for the rear wheels. So that's going to be like the brake drums, I'm guessing. And then you're going to position all of this stuff. You've got the fuel tank and that rear plate there going up is all going to be positioned while the rear mudguards are on. Adding in the seat back, which is nice. And then we've got the beautiful tyres going on with the separate resin wheel centres. And then we're adding the front wheels and the front tyres and the front axle. And as I say, the instructions, you can actually position the wheels so you can have it steered. So there's your tractor there, finished basically. Okay, and then you've got the decals going on, so you've got RAF roundels here, and then you've got your different codes and everything, and registration numbers there. I'm not sure what any of these means. Please tell me in the comments below. I don't know what B5 means, and I'm not sure if 89402 is like a license number, like a registration number or number plate, or if that's like a squadron number or whatever. Please tell me in the comments below. Always interested to hear more about these things. So we've got colour call-outs here. So we've got the main body is an olive drab, satin black for other bits and pieces, matte black for the tyres, and silver for the drum cable, which is a steel wire rope. And then saying here, cut out the dashboard dials and glue to underside of fascia using a paper glue. And then you've got a decal there going on the side, type 2601. And then on the back of the instructions, we've got some colour images of basically restored tractors. I'm guessing they're going to be restored. So you've got a colour scheme there you could use. Not sure if that was actually used in World War II. Bit bright, not sure, but tell me if I'm wrong. And then we've also got one here, looks like it's in a museum, and this is the olive drab with the green, with the black wheels. You can also see on here we've got the big weights on there. I've since found out from great comments in the first video I did, they're not shown in here, but I'll show you in the parts. They are actually great big weights that go on the back wheels, and that helps weigh it down and gives it more traction in loose surfaces. So there's the instructions. Let's have a look at some parts. So we've got a bag here of basic resin parts, and this is going to be some basic parts to make up the tractor itself. So here we've got let's get those out of the way. Here we've got the actual floor here with the kick panels, front mudguards, and chassis there. So unusual in that it's got a chassis. Normally tractors are sort of the engine gearbox bolted together, and that forms the backbone of the thing, but this obviously had a chassis as well. So there we can see, very, very nice indeed, all crisply moulded, lovely and flat, no warpage or anything, and very, very sharp, nice clean corners, no bubbles whatsoever. Really, really nice. And also a nice touch here we've got down on the bottom edge of the wheel arch, as you can see there. We've got the, maybe if I turn it around it'd be better, maybe you can see it better. You can see you've got the flanges in there with the 4 bolts, so a little bit of wash, a little bit of dry brushing, just to make those little details pop and make it all a bit more interesting. So that's that, which is all very nice. Then we've got the actual upper section of this is going to be the front of the engine, and then we've got the transmission here, and this part here will be like the rear axle, as it were. Very, very nice indeed. As I say, all very, very crisp. A bit of something on, I'm not sure if that's a bubble there or if that's actually from the master. I should imagine it looks like it's from the master. So that's going to sit in there like that, I'm guessing. So you can see it's a very, very simple construction. And then obviously our seat's going to go on here. And then this is going to be the centre of the rear wheels. So yeah, very, very nice indeed. And all our controls and everything will go on top of there. So that's lovely. You've got our tyres here. We've got obviously 2 of those rear tyres. Make sure you get them the right way round. Lovely tread pattern on. No seam down the middle, so that's really, really nice. No tyre lettering, obviously. I say obviously because obviously to put... How many times can I say obviously? Iconicair is owned by a gentleman called Graham, and it's, as I say, it's a one-man band. It's a cottage industry, without wishing to sound insulting towards Graham. But basically, yeah, one-man band, and obviously putting tyre lettering would involve copyright and everything, and you know, it costs thousands. What you could do is what some Chinese companies do is instead of having Michelin, you would have like Michelin or Mitch, and then have an E where there should be an L, and you can just scratch bits away or whatever. But obviously Graham's not going to do things like that, and you will find that the laws in the UK are a little worse than they are other parts of the world, shall we say. Here we've got the rear arches, or rear fenders if you're in the States. As I say, very, very nice and crisply moulded, really, really clean, sharp edges on there. You can see on the edge of that wheel arch, so it's going to be obviously fabricated or pressed steel, but that's going to really pick up that really nicely. Beautifully done. Got the steps in there for the seat or whatever to go in, and then the same on that side. So yeah, very, very nice indeed. We have got a hole there. I'm not sure if that's a bubble or if that's going to be off the master, but honestly, you know, you can expect stuff like this. One of the problems with resin, you can't tell until it comes out of the mould, and quite often, no matter how much you vacuum it, no matter how much you pressure it, you will still get imperfections. And one of the worst things is if you've got an imperfection in the silicone mould and then you put it in vacuum to cure the resin, or you put it in pressure to cure the resin, obviously the resin will run into that fault whichever way it may be. So yeah, and you're not going to completely remake a mould just to get rid of that. No. So here we've got the front fairing that's going around the keep the driver's knees dry, if you like, and beautifully cast, very, very thin. You can see here how much I can flex it. It's very, very thin. It's beautiful resin. I must find out what it is he uses. It's really, really nice stuff. And but it's, yes, if I hold it up to the light, you can't see it, but I can see it. If I hold it up to the light, you can see through it. So it's really scale thickness. Very, very nice indeed. And then finally, not finally, we've got the engine cover here, which goes on the top. We've got the louvers on the side. I mean, if you want to sort of scratch them, make them look a bit more open, you can, but put a wash on them, they'll look great. You've got the radiator grille on the front, which is very, very crisply moulded. You can see there, extremely sharp, beautifully done. And then the same sort of hold downs and louvers on the side there. And then here we've got, finally, for this bag, we've got the instrument panel, which, as you can see, has the dials punched through. And you've basically got, in the back of the Deco sheet here, you have the instrument panel there. You've got two of them on a paper sheet, and you can just cut them out and glue them in behind, perhaps put a piece of acetone in between or something. But you can see there, if you look at it behind, it's moulded through very, very thinly. Really, really nice. So that's the first bag. So we'll get those parts over there out of the way, and then we will get another bag. And here we have a bag with two sprues in it. I call them sprues, they're actually plugs, called plugs. So on here we've got the rear blade. So this is the part that gets dug into the ground, much like on the back of a Famo, gets dug into the ground, and then that's the blade, and then basically the tractor won't get pulled back if they want to winch something heavier than itself. We've got the front bumper here, which is beautifully cast. As you can see, very, very thin sections, really, really scale sections. Very, very nice indeed. And you've got the angle on there to mount it onto the chassis. And then there we've got our front axle. And as you can see on the end, it's radius, so you can put the front wheels in and steer them to what position you want for your static display. It doesn't have working steering, but you can actually position the wheels. And then here we've got the, these are what I've since found out are weights to weigh down the rear wheels, get better traction. We've got a plate of some sort there, which is obviously going to be part of the chassis. You can see when you look up close here on those weights, beautiful moulding, hexagonal bolts. Everything's really, really nice and crisp. You can imagine that painted black with a sort of lighter wash on it, or some dust and dirt on it, whatever. You've got headlights there which have a flat face on them, so you could either like paint those silver. I'm not sure if they would have been blacked out or whatever. Somebody can tell me in the comments. But if you want to make them as headlights, you could always drill them out and put some little those little what do you call them you can get from little cars. Can't think what you call them now. Steering wheel there, very, very finely done. A little bit of flash on it, but only to be expected. You'd expect to see flash all over that, and then you'd have to pop it out. Two levers, one either side of the steering wheel. We've got the that looks like the handbrake lever there next to the steering wheel. Very, very beautifully cast. And then here we've got the steering arm. We've got the pedals there, which are nicely done. And then here you've got the steering arm, which is on mine has a piece broken off and missing. I have since spoken to Graham. I only got this kit yesterday being Thursday. I emailed Graham this morning or last night, I can't remember now, and basically I've got an email this afternoon. It's in the post. I'll get it tomorrow. So that's customer service for you. So, and I've also noticed here I've got part of the pedal missing as well, but that would be easy to scratch build. So I don't know if he sent me this whole he's probably sent me this whole fret, so that'll be that sorted. So there we go. So that's the second bag. And then into the third and final bag of this kit. How are we doing for time? It's okay, 52 minutes left. This is a real treat, some of this. This is really, really lovely. I'm really looking forward to building this. And as you can see, I mentioned in the first video, it's not a small thing. You can see it's on my hand there. It's sort of, it's bigger than a Willys Jeep, I think. So yeah, really nice size. And obviously it's 32nd scale, not 35th, which is what large scale plane modelers have had to put up with for many years. We've now got finally some 32nd scale stuff coming on the market, as have the 35th scale guys have finally got some aircraft. So if you haven't seen my Stuka Build, go and have a look. So here we've got on here, this is beautifully done. This is all very nice. You can see on the end here we've got the engine block. This would have been a flathead engine. It's got the inlet and exhaust manifolds on one side, as you can see there. Not like a cross-flow engine like days of modern engines. And then you've got the plates in the side of the engine there, the valve covers, and that's where you get your access in to adjust your tappets and everything in there. So very nice. Then next to there you can see we've got the front wheels, beautifully cast with the nut and bolt detail on them. Really lovely. And then in the back they've got the hollowed out radius area, so you can stick it on the end of the axle and steer it to your desired choice. Next to there we've got the top of the transmission, which is beautifully done. I will put some photographs up at the end of this video so you'll see the parts in close-up detail, which is always better than seeing them in video. And then we've got the fuel tank with its straps and mountings there. Very nicely done. And then here is the pièce de résistance, I think. We've got the winch drum there with the cable, and you can see it's got the cable and the actual eyelet on there as well. So very nicely done. So that, that with painted silver with perhaps a dry brush of white or grey. I'm guessing it would have been galvanized steel cable, so it would have a lighter color to it, and then give it a nice very dark grey or nearly black wash, and that is going to really pop. So yeah, very nicely cast plug, that one. And then here we've got a fairly simple one. We've got our front tires here with the rib detail, again for obvious reasons, no tire marks on there. And then we've got our rear wheels, which are beautifully done with all the nut and bolt detail on them. As I say again, you'll see photographs at the end. And then we've got our rear, I'm guessing, brake drums, wheel mounts, or inner wheels, whatever you want to call them. Really nice. And then here, final sprue for the, or final plug, should I say, for the tractor. We've got this here. We've got our winch drum here, the barrel, the side plates. Let's say not drum. That's our winch side plates there. Very nicely done. All crisp, very sharp and very clean. Got the seat backrest there. We've got the seat base. It's got a bit of a leathery sort of texture to it, which is really nice. Would it have been leather? Please let me know in the comments, guys. That's going to come up lovely with some browns and whatever colour it should be. And then here we've got the rear plate. Now I'm guessing you're going to knock through there the holes in the sides, but you can see on that rear plate you've got all the different plates going up for all the different heights. And this is actually designed to fit with the trolley I'm going to show you in a minute. And here's what I previously called the exhaust. It's actually the air intake with the air filter below. So you can see the detail on there is very nice indeed. Very crisp. So that's it for the tractor. I'll get all this bag back up and then we'll have a look at this bad boy. Sorry guys, just realised I forgot to show you the decals or decals or decals, whatever you want to call them. So this is the decal sheet for the RAF tractor, and you can see on here, you can hardly see, but we've got lots of white bits and pieces there, and we've got registration plates there, and we've got our RAF roundels with the very bright blue on there. I'd be interested to know if that's correct. Graham is normally very good with his research, but it does look very bright to me. I'm not sure. Maybe it's made that way so that when it goes down on the olive drab, it appears darker. Not quite sure, but let me know in the comments what you think. But if that is incorrect, I mean, if you can't find RAF roundels that size, then you haven't got a bloody spares box of decals as far as I'm concerned. But anyway, there we go. That's all the decals you can see on there. You can see the white lettering now. Very difficult to film. You get it dark enough so that you can see the white stuff and then you can't see anything else. So that's why I like to do photographs at the end. Okay, so moving swiftly on, we have the RAF Heavy Bomb Trolley Type H. And this trolley is purpose built for carrying the Tallboy and the Grand Slam. So if you're getting the new HK Models Grand Slam kit, then having this alongside it, perhaps with the Gram Slam bomb in there, is going to look amazing. Or you might just decide to build your 1/32 scale HK Lancaster Mark 1/3 into a Tallboy carrying Lancaster, which you can do, because Graham not only does the trolley and the Tallboy bomb and everything, he also does the bulged bomb bay doors. So you can actually build, I'll go through it at the end of the video, there's lots of different variations you can do, and lots of different packages with different prices and stuff, and I'll go through all that at the end of the video before I show you the photographs. So basically here you can see a beautiful CAD image on the front of the box there. So that's what you're getting in the kit. It's surprisingly large actually. Scale model kit, the REFH type heavy weapons trolley used for large weight ordnance. Kit includes resin parts suitable for experienced modelers, and then the same image on the other side of the box there. So again, it's beautifully packaged, all sort of, you know, bubble wrap protecting everything. This is our Tallboy bomb, more of that in a second. And then these are the parts of our trailer, or trolley should I say, and then more parts here. And then into the bottom we've got more parts here, all mounted on cardboard, which is really nice. I'll put a bubble wrap over there. We've got a lovely Deco Sheet, which I won't forget this time. And we've got our, as ever, set of instructions. So what we'll do is we'll go through the instructions first. We have two sets of instructions. So basically what I want to do before we go any further, with the Tallboy, you have, basically you have three, I think it's three options. If you buy the Tallboy as a kit to fit to your Lancaster, you will get the Tallboy like this, with the actual sling there to go over and the mounting chocks to mount it into the bomb bay of your 32nd scale Hong Kong model Lancaster. And I would imagine it will also fit the new forthcoming Border Models kit as well. They're both going to be around about the same size, and there's not going to be anything big enough in them to not be able to fit this, or big enough difference should I say. So that's your first option. So you can buy the Tallboy with the mountings and everything to fit your Lancaster. You can also buy the Tallboy with the mountings and everything and the bulged bomb bay doors, okay? But you can also buy the Tallboy as part of this set. And if you buy it as part of this set, you're basically getting the trolley with the Tallboy, but you're not getting any of the bomb bay doors or any of the mounting brackets or anything. So you're basically getting the trolley with the Tallboy on it. So those are your three different options. So go and have a look at the website, Iconicair. I'll put a link down below, and then you can go and have a look and see exactly what it is you want. Have a good look, and make sure you're getting the right thing for what you need. So basically, I'm very tempted actually to build my HK Lancaster as a Tallboy and get the bulge bomb bay doors for it. Really, really tempted to do that. So right, so going into the instructions here, as we said before, safety first and everything. Oh, sorry, this is a kit for adding Barnes Wallis Tallboy bomb to the HK models, the 1/32 Lancaster, and the bulge bomb doors to the bomb bay. The parts can be broken off the sprue quite easily, and there's no need to use a saw. Score a line with a scalpel is useful. Safety, again, can't stress this enough. You do not want to be breathing in this stuff. It is not good for you. And then again, talking about using super glue or using epoxy resin, preferably to super glue, and then cleaning the parts before you actually paint them. So very, very simple construction. You've got this plate here with these three cylinders in it. I'm not exactly sure what that is. Please tell me in the comments below, rather than me having to go and look on Wikipedia and then wonder if it's correct. So you're adding those three cylinders into that plate, putting the main halves of the front half of the bomb together, and then that's all going together. It says assemble all three components at the same time. The rear plate will other fuses will further assist in aligning the two main halves. Tail parts going on, tail fins going on. Little note there to say there's supposed to be a gap. The fins aren't supposed to fit flush. And then you're actually fitting the rear part of the bomb tail, onto the actual bomb itself. And now we're going into fitting it onto the Lancaster. So if you're buying the Tallboy with the fittings, okay, then they're telling you here, I love this bit, the two outer injection moulding ejector pins should be drilled. If you've got the Hong Kong models Lancaster, you'll know this Bombay floor or Bombay roof is absolutely plastered in ejector pin marks. It's terrible. It's disgusting. Really, really bad. But it's actually, you know, here Graham's telling you to use two of those ejector pin marks as your mountings, and then you're going to cut some slots in the conduit there so you can fit your chocks in there to fit the bomb onto, and then you're going to fit that sling that holds the bomb in, and then you're going to slide your bomb in afterwards. And then here we've got the colour call outs for painting the bomb and all the decal placements. There's quite a few little decals to go on here actually, which is nice. This bit of bloody bubble wrap keeps sticking to my fingers. Obviously I'm full of static. So nice colour call outs, and then nothing on the back. So having a look at the Tallboy, it's a very, very simple little kit. Nothing much to it at all. So we've got the front halves of the bomb there, which go together beautifully, just like so. You've got a pin at the front for ease of assembly, and then you've got the guides on the side, so that goes together like that, which is lovely. Okay, and then we've got the tail half. Again, they go together beautifully. It's all sort of very, very self-explanatory how it goes together, and then basically that is going to sit on there. So there's your Tallboy, and you can see from the size of my hand, and I'll get a rule. So we have 150, it's basically 200 millimeters long, so 8 inches long. So it's a big old beast. It's a beautiful thing, and very, very nice indeed. And then on here we've got the fins. Okay, we've got that center plate with the fuses, and as you can see on there, you've got all that lovely, lovely bolt detail, or nut and bolt detail, should I say. And I am very tempted to shave those nuts and bolts off of there and put them in my spares box for my 12th scale model cars, because they'll be really handy. So because you're not going to see them inside there, are you? So so there you go. So that's the Tallboy. So I'll get that bagged up on camera rather than have to edit another segment, and then quickly show you the decals, transfers, water slide transfers, decals, whichever part of the world you're in. There we go. So we can see on here we have the green band that goes around the bomb. Were there two bands or just one? It's just the one. So I'm kind of wondering, you've got two there, so you can actually mess one up, I'm guessing, unless it needs the two to go around. But you can see on there we've got our green Torpex band, and that's so around the top there is your Torpex band. You've got the red stripe here to go around the nose. We've got some white arrows there that you can just about see, just about make out, and then you've got some yellow stenciling data there going over the bomb, telling everybody what it is and everything. Not really sure. I need to do some reference. I'm not sure if these things got beat about and weathered or whatever, but you know, even if you haven't got a Lancaster, it's going to make a great little static display with this Tallboy sat on this trolley behind the tractor. I think it'll look absolutely stunning. So going into the H trolley, this is a beautiful model. Again, it's RAF kit. The RAF, it's a kit of an RAF type H-bomb trolley designed to carry the £12,000 Tallboy or the £22,000, my God, Grand Slam earthquake bombs. The trolley consists of a four-wheel chassis fitted with tow bar, screw jacks, towing hook and traversing gear, and bomb carrying frame with hoist. Now, again, I'd like to know in the in the comments below, please. I'm guessing that this actually positioned itself underneath the Lancaster, and then this winch mechanism actually lifted the bomb up into the Lancaster, because if they're using smaller bombs, I think they actually used the winches in the Lancaster, didn't they? Or at least the hooks, the points to lift the bombs into. But I'm guessing with all this weight, they use this to winch it up in there. Please let me know in the comments below, or link me to a great video where I can see it. I'm all ears with this sort of stuff because I know nothing about it, and there's so much research material, and some of it's just wrong. So that's why I like to take advice from you guys. So anyway, we've got our instructions here. Main chassis going together, so you've got the ends going on here. I think this is the front, and then you've basically got the front bit going on here, which has got the front axle with the steering on the end, and then we've got the actual drawbar going into there, and then we've got these trays in the sides, and I think that's where the jacks go, isn't it? I'm not sure. I think that's where the jacks go. Let's have a look. or is that where they actually mount? Oh, never mind. So we've got these trays going in the sides, and then we've got the rear axle going in here with the handbrake mechanism on there. I'm assuming that's a handbrake. And then we've got another tray going on there, just on the one side by the look of it. Doesn't look like there's two of them. And then we've got a wheel here. Not exactly sure what the wheel is for, if somebody could tell me. And then we've got another towing eye on the back. You've probably seen these, the tractor, and then putting a train of trolleys, you know, almost looking like a, you know, on the waterfront at Western Supermare back in the 60s. Yeah, those trays have the jacks in them by the look of it. So you've got the jacks going in, which are absolutely beautifully cast. We'll see those in a minute. And then we've got our wheels and tyres, again, beautifully cast. You've got these mounting plates for the uprights going underneath here. And then we're going to assemble our winches and everything and then glue them on underneath. There's 4 of those to go on. And then we've got the actual cradle for the bomb itself going into there. It's giving us a dimension to fit them. And then you can see the cradle all assembled, and that shows you exactly how it goes. And then again, we're fitting the winches on the other side, and we're sandwiching the cradle into those winches. So obviously they're going to, so obviously they lift it up into the aircraft. So and you can see again here, Graham's provided us with a great drawing of how it all looks when it's gone together. So I wish more manufacturers would do this, because quite often you just get an arrow like, and that's it. You've got to try and work out where it goes. So and then moving forward, we've got this X frame going on the side, cross frame, all made of L section, and then here he's removed that for clear, so you can see clearly, and you've got these braces going across again, all the time showing you how it actually looks when it's finally done. So thanks for that, Graham, great move. So there we are, and then here at the back we've got a completely finished model with our drawbar and everything on the front and the wheel at the back. So very, very nice, very, very beautiful little model. You can just imagine how this is going to look with a wash and everything. And when you see these parts, you will not believe how crisp some of them are. So I'll start with the bigger bag here. So here we've got a bag of parts. And I can be a little bit rough with these because there's nothing too flimsy. So we've got some little bits over there. Little bits there. So here we go. So here we've got our main chassis. Okay. No twist in it at all. As you can see, it's quite flexible, but it's actually very, very flat. A little bit of clean up required on there, but nothing much at all. It's, you know, it's typical of any resin kit manufacturer to have clean up required. So that's going to go in like that, and then that's going to go in like that. So to give you an idea of the size of this thing, it looks pretty bloody big to me. Again, I shall grab my ruler. So that is, without the drawbar, remember, that is 150, 210 millimeters. So that's like, what's that? That's 6 inches. So it's nearly 8.5 inches long. So that's quite a nice size. Like I say, it's going to be such a beautiful display with that great big Tallboy sat on there. You can just imagine it. Here's the Tallboy here. You can just imagine that sat on there like that, you know, next to it, whatever. Really, really nice. So that's the chassis. As you can see, very, very clean, very, very crisp, very beautifully moulded. And that's the thing with kits when they come out and they're new, the moulds are fresh, everything's very, very sharp. You know, resin and injection moulded kits. It's always a good idea to get the kits whenever you can, as soon as they come out, because if you want it, there's only 2 things that are going to happen. The moulds are going to go off, or the kit's going to go out of production. So you may as well get it as soon as it comes out. Here we have the rear axles, okay, which are very, very nice, and they've got these huge pinions on them there. And then we've got the actual wheels themselves, and you can see in there we've got the lovely hub detail with the bolt heads and everything in there, all hexagonal. You've got all the lovely detail there, and as you can see, you know, a wash and a dry brush, wow, it's all just going to pop big time. You can see the other side of the wheels there. Really, really nicely done. I don't think Graham uses 3D printers. I think he actually CNC machines stuff and then makes his moulds from that. So you probably won't see any of the lines on this. So here we've got the front axle with the steering gear on it. So obviously you can't have these wheels steered, but if you wanted to, I would assume, which would make an ass of you and me, I would assume that that is the pivot there. So you could always slice that off and then just have it steered if you want to. But be careful how you display it, because if you display it in front of the tractor and you have it directly behind the tractor with the wheels steered and the tractor's going straight, it might look a bit odd. So there's the drawbar there. You can see the little tiny eyelets on the side. But as I said, it's all very, very sharp, all very, very crisp. And then we've got these plates here, I think they're for the jacks. They've got more plates there. We've got the handbrake mechanism there on the end. And then we've got the rear towing the towing hook for towing extra trolleys behind it. We've got that wheel for doing whatever it does with the handle on there, so it can be cranked rather than having to turn it like a car steering wheel. And then we've got our 4 jacks there, and they've got the square upper parts on them, threaded shafts, and then the locking collars, and obviously the feet down the bottom. And as I said, there'll be photographs of this at the end, and you can see all the detail crisply in there. And then we've got these beautiful tyres, beautifully cast, no tread on them as they were, but you can see the features around the side, really, really nicely done, and flat spotted as well on the bottom. So that's cool, which is what people like. So that's that bag dealt with. Get those bits out of the way. Put them over there. Second bag, very, very nicely done again. As I said, I know I've seen all this before. So here we've got our winches, and you can see that this is the winch frames on the side, and you've got the pulleys here, and you can see how lovely and crisp those pulleys are with the grooved out areas for the cables to run in. So you could add some cables if you wanted to, which won't be too much trouble. And then you've got the plates on the end there that the actual winches, lifting winches, mount into. And then you've got the bases here. These are the motors. These are the motors that are going to lift the bomb up into your Lancaster. And then you've got the actual winch, or the lifting mechanism frames here. We've got left and right handed, and you can see on there they've got the beautiful bolt detail cast onto them, trying to catch it in the light. You see the bolt detail around here is cast in. Very, very nicely done. And then obviously they're going to go, these frames are going to go on the inside here, like that, to form a box section for your pulleys to go in. And as I say, then you're going to add your cables, which are going to look lovely. And then we've got a couple of pulleys there which have broken off the plug. And then we've got these lovely little bits and pieces here, and these are the parts for our cradles. And as you can see on the detail on them is beautiful. Really, really nicely done. So very, very lovely. As I say, don't forget, end of the video, photographs. I keep repeating myself, but some people miss what I say some of the times. So here's the final bag of parts for the trolley, and these I really, really love. So you've got L section here, flat section here, L section there, C section there, or U section, and then I section there, and then solid block. So you've got the whole lot in there all on one fret. It must have been a nightmare to cast this. But you can see on there you've got the bolt detail on the end of those little cranked ends there, and they're the frames that go on the side, the X frames. And then you've got that U section there, you can see, which is beautifully done, and then you've got your I-beams here. That's all very, very sharp and crisp. You see there's got no flash on there or anything, it's lovely. And then here, these are beautiful. These little angle frames made of angle. And they're really, really nice indeed. So be careful getting them off, you break them easily. But as I say, beauty of resin is if you break it, it doesn't matter. Some people were surprised I did my review of the Model Factory Hero Lancia, which is like a £500 kit, and part of the body's broken. Because it's resin, I don't care. If it was plastic, it would all be bowed and stretched. You've all seen it with model cars where they get crushed and the roof gets caved in. But it doesn't matter with resin, it just snaps. You just glue it back together. It's not an issue. So there we go. So really impressed with these. Are my favourite parts of the model, actually. Because I just think, you know, when it's painted with a wash and everything, I don't think it mentions in here what colour it is. There's no mention, so that's the wrong instructions, that's why. There is no mention here what colour it is. I'm guessing it would have been olive drab, the same as the or olive green the same as the tractor. I'll have to do some research. Maybe they're all different. Maybe that's that very funny RAF blue colour that people use that turns out is maybe fictitious. I know I've seen models of the Tilly done, the Tamiya Tilly in 35th scale, and people say, oh yeah, it's beautiful in that blue colour, but apparently they never were that colour. So I don't know. Again, in the comments below, let me know please. So there we go guys, that has been this beautiful RAF heavy bomb trolley Type H with the gorgeous Tallboy. And as I say, if you want to go on and do your HK models Lancaster as a Tallboy Lanc, you can buy this trolley with the Tallboy, or if you want to fit it to your Lancaster, you can buy the Tallboy with the mountings to fit it to the Lancaster, and then you can also buy the bulged Bombay doors. So there we go. And I'll run through now. I'll just pause this. I did write it all down. I'll see if I can find it, and I'll give you all the prices and everything. Okay, so all boxed up and everything back together now, all safe. So if you want to go and check this stuff out and see some images and stuff of it all done, go check out Iconicair.com, www.iconicair.com, and have a look on there and you'll see all the different options. But what I'll do, I'll just run through the different options with you now. I saw some comments when I did this video, first of all, that people felt it was expensive. It's not cheap. Of course it's not cheap. Compared to injection molded kits of the same thing, like if you compare this to a Heller 24 scale tractor or whatever, it seems expensive compared to that. But this is the only game in town. It's the 32nd scale David Brown tractor. It's handmade in resin. It's not injection molded. If this was made as an injection molded kit, the cycle time to produce this kit, if you had, like, you know, as many molding machines as you had sprues. So if you had 3 sprues and you had 3 molding machines all lined up, each one molding 1 sprue each, the cycle time to produce the plastic parts in that kit would be roughly 20 to 40 seconds. Okay, if that. The cycle time to produce this kit is probably a good couple of hours. All right, you've got to mix up your resin, you've got to vacuum the resin, you've got to pour the resin, you've got to vacuum the pour, you've got to get that then into your pressure chamber and do all that in about 6 minutes, and then it has to sit there and be left for about 12 hours while it cures before you can even get it out of the mold. So if you want to be getting into production, you need to make more than 1 set of molds, and then you have to have more than 1 set of equipment, because you can't pressure cast and then take it out of the pressure casting until it's sort of pretty much cured. You have to then, it's a very, very slow, very laborious process, and that's why resin kits, small manufacturers, that's why their prices are comparatively expensive. But when you think about it again, I don't think it's expensive at all. So the trolley itself, the kit on its own, is $47.50. The kit of the trolley with the Tallboy bomb, it's called an H-bomb then. The trolley Type H with the Tallboy bomb is £70. These prices include VAT. So those prices, that's £70. Now, if you want to buy the Tallboy bomb with the brackets to mount it into the belly of your Lancaster, that's £35. And then if you want the bulge bomb doors for your Lancaster as well, they are also £35. The tractor as a kit on its own is £50. Okay. And then if you want to go for the bundle, you get the tractor, the trolley and the Tallboy. That's £115. That's like a £5 saving for buying all 3 together. If you get the tractor and the trolley, that's $92.50. So if you're getting the new Hong Kong models Grand Slam kit and you just want to have it in displayed, you might want to put the Grand Slam in here. You might want to put the Grand Slam in the kit and have this sat waiting to, you know, it's just fitted it or something. I don't know. But having vehicles by your model aircraft is brilliant. I remember I did mention this in the first video. I went to a show. I saw a 295 there, TU95 in 1/72nd scale. That great big German. Where did I get that from? That great big Russian thing. And it had a couple of fuel tankers with it, and it wasn't on a diorama, it was just stood there with the fuel tankers, and it just gives you an aspect of the size, it just gives you a feeling for it. And it's always good to put vehicles with aircraft, I think, as long as they're the right scale. So yeah, the tractor and the trolley on its own, £92.50. Okay, so as I say, I'm very tempted to build my Hong Kong Lancaster as a Tallboy now, and I'll get in touch with Graham and get the bulge doors off him, and go for there. In fact, I probably won't add any. I'll add my resin engines and improve the look of the engines, but I probably won't use any of that beautiful resin cockpit. I just build it as it is and maybe modify the seat a bit. Let's see, I think that would be a great little project actually. And with the bulge doors and that great big bomb hanging out the bottom, hanging out the bottom of it, I think it would look bloody awesome. So anyway, there we go. So that's your prices. As I say, get on over to Graham's site, iconicair.com. There's lots more than just this on there, and have a look. And there's also a dam buster conversion on there, which I reviewed many moons ago. And then when I sold my HK Models Lancaster, that went with it. But anyway, that's all gone now. That was days gone by. So thanks for watching. As I say, stick around. I've got some photographs and some music coming, and you'll see some close detailed photos. Any questions, any comments or anything, please put them down below. And as you know, I've asked some questions through the video. Any questions you want to answer, pop them down below. And I'll bet Brett is going to answer every single one of them, because Brett always answers all my questions, don't you, Brett? Thank you. So I'll see you all soon. Thanks for watching, and I hope this one comes out better than the last one. Bye for now.